Assemblyman Chivukula, can you tell us a little bit about the legislation that you're proposing to introduce on energy, and specifically how it relates to the ratepayers?
Well, I'm trying to look at the SREC prices that have been falling consistently. They have fallen around $200, and even though we have solar alternate compliance payment is set around $575, it did not matter. The market, because of the oversupply, over demand, and also the federal incentives have caused the solar market and the SRECs to behave that way. So one of the things we are looking at is that trying to see how we can lower the solar alternate compliance payment, also introduce some stability through long-term contracting through the utilities, like utility securitization or utility contracting programs. And at the same time, we are trying to see how we can encourage the net metering, and also looking at the schedule, which is from 2011 to 2026, starts around 316 gigawatt hours to going up to 5,300 gigawatt hours, trying to take some of the SREC requirements and the later years, move it down to the 2012, 13, and those two or three years, and that will, but at the same time reducing the requirements at the later years, so that with the net impact will be zero, in the sense that the total requirement for SRECs, the cumulative requirement, will be the same. So those are the types of changes. And then we also introduced the transparency in the SREC marketplace, creating a registry, asking the Board of Public Utilities to create a registry, so that way we know what is actually being put in the PJM queue and what is actually being built. And that type of transparency will help the ratepayers. And also, I think by lowering the SACP, and as well as trying to look at the overall cost of this SREC program, and it is actually below the current Energy Master Plan numbers.
We heard a lot of testimony today from stakeholders, both within the industry and within the BPU. What are some of the things that you learned today that will affect the legislation?
Well, I think BPU did not speak today. I think the Rate Council was the one who spoke, and she agrees that we can do for front-loading the SREC requirement the first 3 years, not beyond that. And as long as we are able to keep the overall SREC requirement the same, I think ratepayers are going to actually benefit. I mean, the cost will be under $200 million. That's what the Stephanie Brand, the Rate Council, was saying. And also, I think from the industry, we learned that nobody, other than one person, was looking for the floor prices, and most of the people agreed that we need to introduce long-term contracting through the utilities. Those programs have been working well, and they all see that because of the federal ARA programs, where you had 1603 cash grant has been giving 30% of the cash grants, that has really brought a lot of suppliers into the marketplace, and which is going to expire end of this year. So if we can increase the demand, then that way the supply will adjust itself.
We heard today about geothermal energy. Can you explain to our viewers what it is, where it's available in New Jersey, and what the status of promoting it is?
Yeah, geothermal energy, when you go 6 feet below the ground, anywhere, the temperature there is a constant 55 degrees. And by extracting the temperature from there, running it through coolers and heaters, we can use that to heat the houses in the winter time and cool the houses, air conditioning, in the summertime. And it is always available 24/7, whether it is summer, winter, or fall or spring. And which is MIT has come up with a study that the cost of geothermal, which is equivalent to a base load, and it is about 8 cents per kilowatt hour, and it is available everywhere as long as you can drill and go below 6 feet. And so places like Hoboken, where they're sitting on a rock, and they have it will be more costly in terms of going through going to that depth. But I think geothermal has been considered in the federal legislations, and some people look at that as energy efficiency because it does not really produce electricity, but it cuts down your heating bills, it cuts down your cooling bills, and it is available all through the year.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.